we'll go back to Yoda at the beginning about control, you must have control. There are parts of being a parent that necessitate our attention. It necessitates structure and boundaries. And, everything I'm writing about now is conversations.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to process through something yourself first, and then talk to people about how you're feeling, what's needed, what's being missed, and listen. It's not all about lecturing. It's about listening. But maybe as the adults, not even maybe, as the adults, I think it's our responsibility to open those doors.
Yeah.
I don't think we wait for our kids to come to us and say, you could have come to me. Are we opening those doors where they know a conversation is going to be a safe, non-judgmental, connective place? Or they look at a conversation as being the greatest judgment, fear of retribution, fear of consequences, fear of losing respect? They're not going to talk to you about things. Sure. So we have to be thoughtful about that balance of, where we are drawing the line about things and where we are also opening doors to things.
Yeah. So it's more like, it's not that challenges won't happen to us and to our kids, but what we are shooting for, our goal to begin with the end in mind, is that not if, but when these things happen, that we have created a space for conversation, of support, conversations, dialogue, relationship building.
Well, and one of the last lines in there, and your sister and I she was talking about it with me last night, because I think she liked this line, was that sometimes we think that change is going to kill us, but it's actually the thing that saves us. And I'm going into kind of a fall of that, meaning the fall of the autumn, because I have a daughter going to college, and she loves, it's like, if you like what's happening in your life right now, going to college doesn't necessarily sound that exciting.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? When you're like, I like my friends, I like my partner, I like my job, I like where I am. It can be a little daunting to be like, oh, and now I'm going to go start over. And then I have another daughter who, same thing, likes her college, likes her friends, likes her partner, all that stuff, and is going to go abroad. Now, these are wonderful things. They've worked hard for these things. These are things that a lot of people would love to do. But there's also the nuance is that there's also a goodbye, and it's also hard, and change is hard. And when you go to college and you go abroad, you change, your life changes, and it will be difficult for me, even though I know they're doing what they want to do, and I'm supportive of all of that. But it is hard. And then I have a third daughter who's going to be a sophomore next year, and she's going to be doing all these different things. She's going to be driving in September. Todd and my life is changing. Our lives are changing dramatically.
Big time.
And so these are difficult things. They're beautiful. They're everything we work for. And those of you that have little kids who are like, oh my God, I remember, Todd, conversations we would have where we'd be like, can you believe that someday we'll just be able to go out to dinner without, making plans? And now we've been doing that for what, 4 or 5 years?
And you know what? It hasn't gotten old.
No, it hasn't.
We're like, we're 5 years into, Skylar is 15 and it's been a few years where we can just not think and say, hey, we're going to dinner. Whereas before it'd be weeks in planning, and people of younger kids know exactly what we're talking about. And
the babysitter who cancels.
Yeah.
So you can't go.
And it's not, I have not become used to it.
Me neither.
I'm still appreciating the fact that there is this newfound freedom.
That's what we're talking about. And that we, we'll on a Friday be like, do you want to do a date tonight? Just the ability to have that flexibility. And then there's always, the kid who's like, oh, my plan's changing. We're like, well, then come with us. That's great. But we don't have to change our plans. Right. It's not about, we don't want to be with them. I would love them around, but we don't have to be at the mercy of everybody else's lives.
Yeah.
But that, for those of you that have young kids, it's like, that feels so far away. I'm, going to say the most cliche thing in the world. It's not that far away.
Yeah. And
you do what you do in your time. And then all of a sudden these little things start to change.
Right.
And all of a sudden, so anyway, that's, thank you for sharing that Zen Parenting Moment. And if you want to subscribe to Zen Parenting Moment, it comes out every Friday, and you can just scroll down.
Boom. So you have to, so we're going to use the Jonah Hill thing that came out this weekend as a vehicle of discussion for control and weaponization of, self-awareness or therapy, and among other things. But can you frame this for people who have no idea what we're talking about?
Absolutely. And I'm going to try and, this week, it just happens to be Jonah Hill, but it's not just him.
Right.
And that's something we have to remember, is he is also part of a culture that is like we are, that has normalized this kind of behavior. And that we view this, sometimes people categorize this as like loving, you know? And so he's just now in the hot seat where we're focusing on this. But basically what happened is, as I said at the beginning, his girlfriend, I think on Friday or Saturday, spoke out and said that she had been in an emotionally abusive relationship with Jonah Hill. And so of course people were asking questions, why, or what did that look like? And so she shared some texts that he had sent to her, and she had, sent back. And just for a little, just to kind of give you the overview, she is a professional surfer. And so that's how he found her. He actually DM'd her on Insta because she's posting all these pictures of her surfing. And obviously that there's a whole community in surfing, men and women. And obviously the clothes that you wear in surfing are bathing suits. Okay. So these are just logical understandings. But I don't know at what point where they were in their relationship, but what the texts basically said were Jonah telling her what pictures were going to be okay for her to post, and that she needed to take certain ones down because she was showing her body. Even though, and she would say, but this is a swimsuit. This is what I do. And this is my profession. And he's like, well, this is my boundary. And I respect you if you don't want to do it, but then goodbye. Mm-hmm. So, and there was a lot more than that. He actually sent her a list.
Yeah, it's quite a few different texts.
Yes. And he actually sent her a list of things of saying, these are my boundaries, which I kept saying to Todd, let's change the word boundaries to rules to date me. Like these are the rules. Like this is the co-opting of therapy speak, where we have normalized the word boundaries as a positive thing, which it is. But what he's doing, and what a lot of people do, is they hijack these words to make them fit their agenda. And so instead of saying rules, he's saying boundaries. What boundaries are for our own internal well-being. It's basically the best definition is it's okay. These things are okay and make me feel safe, and these things are not okay. Now you may say, well, that's what he's doing, but he's taking his own insecurity.
Yeah, it's not boundaries. I might be oversimplifying. Keeps one safe. And these rules that Jonah expressed were to keep his ego safe.
Thank you. Beautiful. I couldn't say it better. That was trying to keep him from having to deal with his own feelings, his own insecurity, and his controlling behavior. Yeah. Because this behavior, probably he used different words for it early on. Mm-hmm. And then now he has the word boundaries. Mm-hmm. And to say, oh, I respect you if you don't want to do them. Obviously you don't. Mm-hmm. Like there's, again, the language manipulation. And this is what happens, as I went through a big phase last year. People listening will remember that, I talk a lot about cliques and cults, and this is what they do to bring you in, is they start to use language to manipulate your thinking. Yeah. I really recommend Amanda Montell's book called,
look it up.
Something, I can't remember, but it's one of my favorite cult books. Because cultish, that's it. Because she talks about how language is really what's used to manipulate people. It's not that
it's a vehicle we have.
It is. It's not a strong arming where someone's actually physically manipulating you. They are using words in two ways. Number one, to make you feel guilty, bad, ashamed. And then number two, to make you feel special. So, they will use language like you are, well, this is the easiest. They'll use language that other people don't understand. Interesting, like therapy speak, where only certain people know this acronym, or only certain people know this language, and we use it. The best community, just one that I was part of, is yoga. Where people use a lot of yoga language, a lot of mindfulness language, which I have also used, and I still use it. But it's used to kind of push other people out and to make other people feel special. Like, you don't know what I'm talking about. So anyway, that's the plot point that Todd and I are going to focus on.
Yep.
But it's not just him.